society through excellence, integrity, innovation, and service. Our prayer is that tonight's session leaves you with practical insights, meaningful connections, and actionable steps you can apply immediately in your business, career, and personal journey. To take the conversation forward, right, you may ask this business fellowship, how can you be a part of it? Hearing all the great and amazing things we have in view to do, right? I dare say, fortunately, this is a community centered around our church, the Fountain of Life Church, and the way to be a part of this community is to be in the business directory, right? So you start by following the growth track. There is a QR code you would see on your screen right now. Once you follow the growth track, the next thing is to have a fountain ID, and afterwards you create your profile in the business directory. Once you are in the business directory, you are as good as part of the business fellowship, and subsequent insights, subsequent things that we have in the pipeline will be communicated to you, and ways you can benefit from it would also be shared with you. Without further ado, let's go into our icebreaker session, right? And this is to further help us to essentially just break off the ice. We want to engage a bit further, right? We want to communicate a bit further. Like I said earlier, it's not going to be a one-sided conversation. So we would need each and every one of us to comment, to interact, and if you may, let's see your beautiful faces as well. So we have a little game that we will be playing for just 3 to 4 minutes specifically. And first of all, these are the rules. Do not Google anything. Do not use AI or ChatGPT or anything. Just think on your feet. Drop your answers in the comment section with your reason. Okay, so I'm seeing some messages here. Kindly drop a thumbs up if you can hear me. Is anyone having issues hearing me clearly? Am I audible? Please let me know. Okay, great. All right. So, are we ready for the game? Are we ready for the game? Okay. So, here goes. Who is the number one hustler in the Bible? Drop your answers. Do not Google. Do not use any AI. From your own, understanding, thoughts, creativity, the best answer, the funniest answer. You don't just drop one answer. You have to give an explanation. Why? Why Job? Why Jacob? Right? Those are the answers we're seeing here. You might even have someone else completely that is not the popular person in the chat box. Please go ahead, drop your answers with your reason. Very important, with your reason. Right. We only have 5 answers though. Are the others still trying to quickly check some way or the other to find an answer? Drop your answer in the comment section. The best answer wins a 3,000 naira airtime. Or maybe I did not mention that before. Okay. Please keep the answers coming in. Who is the number one hustler in the Bible? The number one. This guy. No. He hustle. Who's the number one? You guys are not giving. What is your reason? Why do you say Jacob? Why do you say Joseph? Why do you say Rahab. Okay, why? Why? Give us your reason. Ha. Chantel says he hustled for a woman too. Okay. Some of us are not based. Oh, definitely. Yes, yes. Some people are not in Nigeria. Definitely. We're aware of that. Okay. The thief that was on the cross beside Jesus. Wow. But we don't know so much about him beyond that that scene. How do we crown him the number one hustler? Anyways, I'm not going to be the judge. Our speakers would judge and decide who wins, so as to not make it seem partial. Right. So, Dr. Michelle, Dr. Larry, Pastor Kunle, who amongst our brethren would you say gave the best answer? Or are we still giving them room to send in their answers? We have 1 minute to go. Just 1 minute. 30 seconds, actually. Yes, to save time. Dr. Larry says, Abiodun. What did Abiodun say? Okay. Jacob hustled for a wife twice and also hustled for his name to be changed by an angel. Wow, he literally hustled for everything. Okay, this is not bad. This is not bad. Everybody is between Abraham, Jacob. Okay, I think we are done with the game. So, we will come back to announce the winner, right? So as to not allow INEC activities to disrupt our meeting. You know, we're collating the results in the IREV. So when we are done, we will announce it before midnight. You know, our own is is playing. You know. All right. Thank you for participating, everyone. Kindly turn on your cameras if you can. Let's see your beautiful faces, and we proceed with the meeting. Okay, now you may ask, why does tonight's conversation matter right now? Right. And if you dig deep, you will find that as we are preparing for the second half of 2026, we are reflecting on the year so far. Many of us are reviewing our goals, we are refining plans, we're setting targets for the months ahead. But beneath all the planning, there is a deeper question many of us have, and that is, why has God placed me where I am? Why am I in this country? Why am I even doing this business? Right. As a result of these questions, there are a whole lot more questions, but to just establish the tone for today's conversation, it's obvious that business can quickly become all about the hustle. But as believers, it's important that we remind ourselves that we are called to a higher perspective. The marketplace is not merely a place to earn a living, but a place to express purpose, to demonstrate kingdom values, solve problems, and create lasting impact. Back to the questions I was speaking about earlier, we would have at some point or the other asked that, look, how can I really honor God with what I am building in this business? Does God even care about my business, Seth? How do I thrive without compromise? Why has it taken me so long to blow? I have tried 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Or how do I use this work to advance God's purpose? Is there any relationship between my business and my spiritual life? These are the questions that are burdensome for a lot of believers. And this is what brings us to the heart of our discussion tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the hustle and the calling. Now, before we go further, it's important to also still set the tone for the conversation. And when we heard this topic, the hustle and the calling, many of us probably thought we understood what hustle means. So I would like to ask, as a second task, this one is not a game, so there is no incentive or cash prize, right? What is your understanding about the word hustle? When you hear the word hustle, what comes to mind? Please drop in the comment section, right? Let us rub minds on this. What is hustle to you? What does it mean when someone says the word hustle? Let's hear from you. So everyone, please comment section, what do you understand by the word hustle? Everyone, please. We need to work together. We need to collaborate on this meeting. Any work that puts food on your mouth and pays your bill is a hustle. That's what Olubumi says. Bolaro says labor. Ebonlua says laboring with all your might. Yoruba will call that Ishe Takun Takun. Right? Chijioke says work. Work is hustle. Okay. Kofoworola says hustle to me is what I do to earn an income. Okay. Elizabeth, hustle means to work hard, push through when you face obstacles. Giving up is not an option. I like that. Arike says one who is focused, a hard worker, proactive, finding new ways to make things happen instead of waiting for opportunities to come. Moses says a means to make money is a hustle. Interesting. Non-stop work. Wow. Okay. We have very interesting definitions of hustle. But for the purpose of this meeting, I would like to streamline. Yes, I see your answers. Great inputs from everyone. Thank you. Right. So I would like to streamline the definition of the word hustle into three definitions. Right. And this would help us establish the foundation of tonight's meeting. There are three types of hustle. The very first one that is familiar with most people, the survival hustle. When you're trying to survive, keep body and soul together, making sure everything works regardless of come what may, right? Pressure is high, economy is economying, everything is going on, but you just must survive. That is survival hustle, and that is the first type of hustle. The second type of hustle is what I'll call the venture hustle, right? And in this context, we all understand that when you're building a business, right, there is a state or a stage where you might not have all the required resources. You're probably still testing the waters. You're probably still trying to put together a team. You're probably still trying to get your product market fit. A lot of things are going on. You are yet to have a well-oiled machine that generates predictable and bankable revenue streams or revenue model, right? That is a venture hustle at that point in time, right? And the third type of hustle is the grind hustle. The opposite of someone that probably might not get this right will be a lazy person, because to a large degree, every day-to-day activity requires a level of grind. You wake up very early to get work done to set up the home, to get set for business. You probably sometimes have late nights trying to crack one thing or the other, right? The execution mindset, the grind, that is the third type of hustle. So as we listen to our amazing speakers, as they run through various topics, as it's comes together under this whole umbrella of the hustle and the calling, let us understand that there are three types of hustles, and these conversations often would sift through or would move through either of the definitions as they speak. Right. So, without further ado, let's get right to bringing in our very first speaker. He would help us to explore the question of identity. What does it truly mean to be called or to be sent? Right? Before I introduce him, which you probably would already know who he is, get your pen, get your notes, get ready for an immersive marathon. He is widely recognized as one of Africa's foremost executive coaches. He's a leadership strategist and the pioneer, or sorry, one of the pioneers of the coaching industry in Nigeria, with over 2 decades of coaching and transformational experience, working with banks and working with various organizations, including banks like Access First, GTB, Wema Bank, right? And beyond the banking space, General Electric, MTN, Airtel, Ericsson, IHS. And he has helped leaders and teams and organizations to achieve sustainable growth and transformation. He's on the board of Ebony Life Group, Avis Nigeria, and the founder of the Life Coaches Association of Nigeria. Without further ado, for the third time, yes, I know, please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Lanre Shola.
Thank you very much, Ayo. How are you tonight?
Very well, very well, very well. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. It's such an honor and a privilege to be coming back home to share from my wealth of experience with my brothers and my sisters. And, I'm so excited about the conversation today, entrepreneurship, the hustle, and the calling. So I want to speak candidly to you, my brothers and my sisters, and I want to tell you that you're not here to just try to survive and make a living. You are here to make a difference. Over the last 40 years of my life, I have seen many things, I've learned many things, and I've helped many people. And here are some truths that I've come to share with you. And one is that the wealthiest, the most impactful, the most powerful people in the world, they are not people who chase money. They are people who solve the biggest and the most important problems. The second truth that I want to start with this evening is I want to ask you a very important question. And the question is this: if God answered all your prayers today, but nobody needed what you had to offer, would you still be in business tomorrow? Many of us go for all nights. Many of us have many prayer points. And if God answered all your prayers, but nobody needed what you had to offer, would you still have a business tomorrow? The third truth that I want to share with you is many people are asking God for provision while ignoring the problem that He has called them to solve. Isn't it the works of your hands and the vehicle that you use to solve problems that He will bless? And number four, understand this, that the marketplace is not a playing ground. The marketplace is a mission field. The last 15 years of my life has been dedicated to studying the world's most powerful, the world's most successful, the world's most impactful entrepreneurs. The last 2 decades plus, I've dedicated my life and my expertise to building and growing businesses globally, some of which Ayo has shared with you, from the banking sector to the telecom sector, to the manufacturing sector, to the hospitality sector across the world. I've run several personal businesses for almost 4 decades. And in that time, I have discovered the following. Number one, most people think that entrepreneurship and business is about making money. Well, let me bust your bubble tonight. It is not. Money is simply the value applause that you receive for solving meaningful problems. That's right. Money is the reward of solving problems. So what is the true definition of an entrepreneur? What is the true definition of entrepreneurship? It is the ability to identify, the ability to create, the ability to deliver solutions to human pain, human needs, human problems, and aspirations in a very, very sustainable and, most importantly, profitable manner. So the true entrepreneur is not primarily a money maker. The true entrepreneur is a problem solver. Joseph solved a global food crisis. Nehemiah solved a broken wall problem. Daniel solved leadership and governance vacuum problems. What problem are you solving? That is the big question. What problem did God create you and God called you to solve? Because your calling is usually hidden inside a problem that keeps disturbing you or drawing your attention. In fact, you may even be reeling in the pain of that problem yourself. I want to talk to you tonight. I want to share with you the difference between a hustler, a solopreneur, and an entrepreneur. Many of us believers are hustlers, hustling to survive. Very few of us are building an enterprise to truly add value. So, what are the qualities of a hustler? The hustler chases after money. The hustler lives from one transaction to the other transaction. The hustler has no systems or structure. The hustler depends on personal effort, talent, and energy. The hustler works in the business. And just as Ayo has shared with us, the hustler goes through various phases. The phase of survival, first phase, the second phase of venture, and the third phase of grind. When you are in survival phase, you are focused on paying your bills and meeting your immediate needs. And what are the signs that you see? You constantly have financial pressure. You constantly have short-term thinking. You constantly are fighting battles. The venture phase, you've got great ideas. You can identify several opportunities and you desire building something, but you are trying so many things to see which one works. And what are the signs? You're always seeking and putting your money into something new without building and consolidating. The third phase of a hustler, we call it the grind phase. You are trying to push really hard to get to the next level. And what are the signs that you see? You achieve results, but with a lot of effort. You now need to begin to think about putting the right structure, the right systems, and putting in place the right strategy. So I want you to pause for a moment tonight, and I want you to ask yourself, which of the three phases best describe me? I want you to put it into the chat room. Are you in the grind phase? Are you in the venture phase? Or are you in the survival phase? And for some of you, you are constantly moving from one phase to the other and back to the phase of survival. So quickly in the chat room, what phase of hustling are you in? Ari, thank you for sharing survival. I'm waiting for others to also share in the chat room. What phase are you in? Right. Lanre, my namesake, says grinding. Godwin says venture. Elizabeth says between survival and the grind. Keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. This message is specially sent, designed for you. Yes, Abiodun says to and fro. Victor says venture. Keep it coming in the chat room, guys. But let me move on. Now, who is a true entrepreneur? A true entrepreneur is one that solves problems. A true entrepreneur builds systems, builds structure for sustainability. A true entrepreneur creates value. He develops people, builds assets, and works on the business. Remember that a hustler works in the business. A hustler earns money, an entrepreneur creates value. A hustler survives for today, an entrepreneur scales for the future. A hustler is a very busy man. An entrepreneur is a very strategic man or woman. And so let me speak to you about a solopreneur, because some of you think that you are entrepreneurs, but you are a solopreneur. I call them solo makinde. A solopreneur is an individual who owns and runs a business largely alone. That's right. You own that business alone. A solopreneur is the only product without whom there is no business. A true entrepreneur builds a business that can survive without him. If your business stops when you stop, you are a solopreneur. If your business continues to create value when you are not there, when you are asleep, then you are an entrepreneur. Having studied the world's most successful entrepreneurs in the last 1.5 decades, I want to share with you 10 qualities that you must develop, 10 qualities that are critical, 10 qualities that top entrepreneurs have. And the first, and in fact, let me share it as an acronym: problem solver, as one word. Problem solver. That's right. Those are the 10 most important qualities of a true entrepreneur. The acronym problem solver. PROBLEMSOLVER. The first P stands for a true entrepreneur is driven by purpose and pain. A true entrepreneur is driven by purpose and pain. Purpose from within and pain to solve and meet the need of the customer. So two things drive a true entrepreneur: the pain of your target market and the purpose that you were born to fulfill. R stands for resilience and reputation management. A true entrepreneur is resilient no matter how tough things are. A true entrepreneur never gives up. Reputation is key. You know, the Bible says that a good name is better than silver and gold. True entrepreneurs, their names signify and define a field. If I mention Bill Gates today, many of us will think Microsoft. If I mention Warren Buffett today, you will think investment. If I mention Steve Jobs today, you will think Apple. What field does your name define? That is a true mark of an entrepreneur. The third quality is they are opportunity focused. Oh, they are constantly creating and finding opportunities. Opportunities are hidden in pain. Opportunities are hidden in needs. Opportunities are hidden in problems, and they are hidden in challenges. They're able to find the opportunities in those hidden nuggets. That's right. That is what they are focused on. The fourth quality is B. Entrepreneurs are bold and courageous. That's right. They are bold and courageous. The fifth quality of entrepreneurs is that they are lifelong learners. They have a growth mindset. They learn from the good, the bad, the ugly. They learn from every situation. Oh, yes, they are fast learners. They are lifelong learners. The sixth is They are execution oriented. Excellence is the key for them. Oh, yes, they execute with deadly precision. Oh, yes, the seventh is they are mission minded. Entrepreneurs are mission minded. So they understand that they were sent on this earth on a mission, and that mission is what drives them. Another key quality of an entrepreneur is the S. They are strategic, they are structural, and they are systemically minded. That is, they build the right structures, they put the right systems in place, and they deploy the right strategies. O stands for ownership mentality. When they fail, they don't blame Nigeria. They don't blame the government. They pause and they learn from their failure. They understand that they need to own it, that there's something that they need to learn from the failure. And so they take ownership, they take responsibility, and they know that it's what they put in that determines what they get out. Another quality of top true entrepreneurs is they have leadership competencies, they have leadership qualities. They lead themselves, they lead their teams, they lead their organizations, and most importantly, they lead their industry. And three more qualities: they are value driven, they are value focused, always. They are always thinking, how can I serve humanity? How can I solve people's problems? How can I meet people's needs? How can I take away people's pain? They are constantly thinking about service to humanity and value. Oh, yes. And the last two qualities that I want to share with you is that true entrepreneurs are emotionally and spiritually intelligent. That's right. That's right. They are emotionally and spiritually intelligent. And the last quality that I want to share with you today is that true entrepreneurs, they are results oriented. They are results driven. It's not about the activity, it's about the results that they can get. Awesome stuff. So quickly, guys, what are I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10 on the problem solver acronym. Rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10 on this problem solver acronym. P is about being purpose and pain driven. What would you score yourself on the first P? The second is resilience and reputation management. What would you score yourself in terms of resilience and reputation management on a scale of 0 to 10? The third is they create opportunities, they see opportunities, and they are opportunities focused. Oh, yes, they see opportunity in pain, they see opportunity in problems, they see opportunities in challenges. Rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10 for all opportunities. What about boldness and courage? Rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. What about being a lifelong learner? Rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. What about being execution oriented, excellence focused? Rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. What about being mission driven? You know that you were dispatched right onto this earth to fulfill a mission on a scale of 0 to 10. What about building and focusing on the structures, the strategy, and the systems that will build and will grow on a scale of 0 to 10? Having an ownership mindset on a scale of 0 to 10, having great leadership capacity, qualities, and competencies, and leading your industry on a scale of 0 to 10. What about being value focused? Always on a scale of 0 to 10. And what about your level of emotional and spiritual intelligence on a scale of 0 to 10? And finally, what about being resolved, focused on a scale of 0 to 10? Let me talk to you about five top entrepreneurs. Henry Ford made transportation accessible to the ordinary man. Steve Jobs, he transformed communication and personal technology. Bill Gates democratized software and computing. Elon Musk pushed the boundaries in transportation, energy, and space. And Alhaji Aliko Dangote addresses industrial and manufacturing gaps across Africa. Notice something. None became wealthy because they pursued wealth. They became wealthy because they solved big problems or they solved problems at scale. Quickly, I want you to answer these questions. What problem were you created to solve? Whose problem are you a solution to? This is the key and the master key to what makes you a true entrepreneur. How do you therefore measure true entrepreneurship success? You measure it by the lives that you impact, by the problems that you solve, by the jobs that you create, by the systems that you build, by the legacy that you leave behind. Money is a lagging indicator of successful entrepreneurs. Impact is the leading indicator of success. So, there are many questions that I want to land and I want to end with. The first question, and I've asked it, is what problem are you called to solve? Your purpose is often hidden inside someone's burden. Your purpose is hidden inside somebody's pain. Your purpose is hidden inside somebody's problem. Your purpose is hidden inside somebody's need. That is what makes you a marketplace leader. Find the problem that you were created to solve. What is it that breaks your heart? What is it that frustrates you? What do people consistently seek your help for? That is an indication of the problem that you were called to solve. The second thing that I want to ask you is who specifically has this problem? This speaks to your customer avatar. You've got to define your customers, your target market's age, their gender, their income bracket, their status, their occupation, their profession, their vocation. You have to identify what they are passionate about, what their pain is, what their problems are, what their needs are. You have to understand their location, where you can find them. What are their fears and frustrations? What are their aspirations? What are their buying behaviors? And most importantly, what are their preferred communication channels? If you can answer all of these questions, you will. I think I was kicked out for a moment.
I don't think.
I was kicked out for a moment.
Okay, great.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, sir.
Fantastic, fantastic. Just to know that you were following me. Where did I stop? If you were listening to me, where did I stop? Quickly in the chat room. Where did I stop? If you were listening to me, where did I stop in the chat room? Where did the network kick me out? All right, in the chat room, I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to share with me. If you can answer all of these questions, you would. Yes, yes, we're talking about your customer avatar. Nice one, nice one. Your customer avatar. That's right, that's right, that's right. Now, the next question that I have for you is where are your customers? Are they online? And if they are online on social media, on what social media are they on? Your customer is not on every social media platform. If they're in physical places, are they in churches? Are they in specific communities? Are they in corporate organizations? Are they in universities? Where are your customers? You must fish where your fish are. You must fish where your fish are. Many of you are fishing where your fish are not. Where have you been fishing and catching nothing? You must go to fish where your fish are. It is not just about having products. You must know where to find the customers and the people that you are called to. That's right. So how can you find your customers? Now, many believers pray for visibility while they remain invisible. Many believers often blink in the dark. Prayer is very powerful, but prayer will not do your marketing for you. Noah prayed, then he went to build. Nehemiah prayed, then he planned. Joseph prayed, but he interpreted the dream and he created systems. Faith without strategic action is incomplete. The Bible says faith without corresponding works is dead. Number 5, how can you solve the problems faster, cheaper, simpler, in a more personalized way, and deliver higher quality? And how can you build trust? Very important. How will you solve the problems better for everyone that you are called to? How do you deliver the solution faster? How do you deliver it cheaper? How do you deliver it simpler? How do you deliver it with higher quality? And how do you build more trust? 6th question is, why will they buy from you? Why should they buy from you? What solution do they need from you? There are 4 critical reasons. People don't buy anything outside of solutions. So if you are not solving a problem, you will struggle as an entrepreneur. Number 1, people buy solutions. Number 2, people buy because of your experience. What experience do you have that will deliver the solution that you were created to be? The 3rd reason why people keep buying is the X factor. How do you create an unforgettable experience? And number 4, people buy because of convenience. How do you deliver convenience with comfort? That's right. Now, it's important that as an entrepreneur, you build the right structure, you build the right systems, and you put in place the right strategy. Because without structure, growth becomes chaos. Without systems, success becomes stressful. And without a strategy, effort becomes a waste. God himself is a God of structure, is a God of systems, is a God of strategies. The universe runs on structure, systems, and principles. Successful entrepreneurs do the same. Scripture says that a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. Your name, your reputation, and your brand is so important if you want to build a sustainable business. Your brand is not your logo. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Your reputation is your greatest marketing asset. Trust travels faster than advertising. It is therefore very, very critical, as I close, that it's important that you leave here tonight with a few thoughts. Number 1, the greatest tragedy in life is not failure. The greatest tragedy is solving the wrong problem for the wrong people while you are ignoring the assignment that God sent you to fulfill. You are not called merely to make money, you are called to create value. You are not called merely to build a business, you are called to make impact and to build influence. You are not called merely to survive, you are called to serve. And here is the last question that I have for you. If God removed your income from your business, that is, if you no longer make money today, will the problem you are solving still be important enough for you to pursue it? Because when purpose subsumes profit, you have discovered your true calling. And when calling meets competence, system, structure, strategy, and stewardship, the marketplace becomes your ministry. And that is where true entrepreneurship impact begins. You are not a hustler. You are not called to conform. You are sent to transform. You are anointed for the marketplace. And this is your place of assignment. So let me leave you with this scripture. Let your light shine before men, that they will see your solutions through your good works and glorify your Father that sent you. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening. Shalom.
All right, all right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Lanre Olushola. Come on. How was that? I hope we learned a whole lot, because I did. My notes are filled up right now. Okay, without taking so much time, because we want to go back to back, right? We will be bringing on board our very next speaker, and kindly keep your questions ready for the Q&A session. Right. As we are bringing in the next speaker, please feel free to use the chat room. You can share the thoughts and insights that most resonated with you in the chat room from everything that Dr. Lanre has shared with us. Are we ready? Are we ready for our next speaker? All right. So, our very next speaker, building on the foundation on identity. Dr. Larry has shared a whole lot about helping you understand your identity in the marketplace, from the problem solver framework to all the other key points that helps you to assess your target audience, understand your business, understand how best to break into the market, and even to understand the conviction if this business is not generating any income, if God takes away the revenue aspect. Is this calling, is this business, is this venture still important enough for you to keep going hard at it? Right. Moving on to our very next speaker, we will be examining excellence and what it means to build with excellence. Our second speaker this evening is a business strategist, an investor, an author, and a marketplace leader with over 2 decades of experience helping businesses scale. She's the founder and group CEO of MPD Group, and she serves as the Director of Origination and Structuring at Ardent Global Partners. Her work spans multiple sectors, including banking, energy, telecommunications, fintech, and real estate. She's passionate about developing people and industries, and has lectured at the Lagos Business School and the Multi-Choice Talent Factory, equipping creatives and professionals with the business and financial skills needed to thrive. She's also the author of The Game of Money. And beyond business, she brings decades of pastoral leadership and is committed to helping individuals and organizations discover purpose, build lasting legacies, and maximize their God given potential. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Michelle Matthew.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Badayo, and thank you to everyone here today. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for the opportunity given to me by the Business Fellowship and the Fountain of Life Church. I do not take it lightly. It is an opportunity to transfer knowledge, and for every time you get that opportunity, frankly, one takes it. Now, without taking too much of your time, I have heard what Dr. Larry has shared, and he has landed with, we're not hustling. We're not. So what we're taking out today is the hustle culture cannot follow us. So that's the first thing. And I'm really grateful to for that, because we deliberately put the word hustle so that it will grab your attention, but it shouldn't keep you there. The reason is a business that lasts cannot be put on a hustle basis. You can't build it on a hustle basis. That business has to be built on structure, systems, a platform, a plan, a continuity space. That is when you know you have a business. And even in registering your business, one of the things that I've found in business that is very interesting to me is most people set up their businesses as a one-man business, where if you're starting, it's allowed. You're the one that writes the proposal, does the business meeting, goes to the customer's office, cleans the office. You are the biggest investment in the business and you are the biggest risk. If anything happens to you, there's no business. So when you're registering your business, let's even start from Nigeria's way of running. I know we have people from the diaspora here, but it's the same thing. So you're registering your business. You will register the business and you will put business name. You have set yourself up as a small entity that has no plans of growing forward. So if you don't take anything from me tonight, take it that if it's a business name or a business venture you've quickly registered, the first thing that tells any serious person giving out contracts, if I see a business name, I'm careful. It means you are a fly by night. Today I will see you, tomorrow you pack up and go to your village, and that's it. Then we'll be wondering what. But if you want to grow the business, the registration process is the first win for you. Go and change it to a limited liability or a partnership. Or as you scale, you go up, you get a trust. That's when you are now ready to set up legacy. But once you're starting, the minimum you should do, and it's not too expensive, is limited liability. That's the minimum. Why do we say so? If you want to invest, if I want to get you to do business with me, for instance, I'm going to ask you for a few things. Let me tell you the things I'll ask for. Where is your office? And I don't say when you start a business, go and get an office. Do not go and quickly get an office. The bill will kill you. The mess, or it will cost you harm. Most people get a business and then they paid for the office. They've done up the office. There's no customer. First, go and find 2-3 customers. And if you're just starting out, if you can, you have a 9-to-5 job, please don't resign. Don't resign first. Do not resign. Be doing it pari passu. And you give Caesar what is Caesar's. In the morning, you will go to work 9-to-5. From 5 to 11, after you've taken care of the kids, they've gone to bed at 8. What are you doing? You say, oh, you need 8 hours sleep. Well done. Sleep it, finish. You will take that time. Instead of watching Netflix, somebody has produced content that you are watching, and it is your data you are streaming, and it is also your own and you're wondering, why am I not making ends meet? The structure is the problem. The hustle, yes, and it is good to hustle. Trust me when I say one has done a lot in business. I started out as an investment banker. Pretty much very early in life, I knew, I wanted to find where the money was at. No kidding you. Because I studied microbiology, but I was like, go and do masters, come out with PhD. Though now I've gone back to a few things I'm doing in that space. But I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going straight. Where are the 4 companies that pay well? So I chose pharmaceutical, oil and gas, banking. Then I now said, and I think one more. I can't remember the last one, but they were the ones that were the most okay. The food and beverage, the Cadbury's of this life. So I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I had a mentor that was guiding me. Who's your mentor? So I wrote it down and they ticked it. And I decided that, oh, okay, I'll do banking. My family is from a banking background, so it's easier to get entry. So I went to go and lobby them that please help me with a job. And they did help me with a job. I got my interview in Citibank and I passed. Interestingly, at that time, Citibank will only hire engineers, scientists, because we understand process. But it is very demanding. You go to work at 6 in the morning. I will not close till 1 a.m. But today it has produced a character that I enjoy. Work is fun for me. I can keep working. Anyone who knows me well knows that I'm kind of quiet. So I will need, if I know you, I can say whatever. But if I don't know you, I can sit down, tell me to churn out anything for you on any topic. Just give me a couple of hours. I'll churn it out because it requires study. And I am a small EFICO like that. But EFICO doesn't make money. So after working in Citi for a while, I got a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I read it. I was the typical person that was the poor side. Forget whatever you believe your family has. I'm me, because you have a big car, you have a big house, you have 3 cars, but how much would your money last? If you didn't have a job today, will it do 10 years? Will it do 5 years? And I became distressed. I just thought, no. And I was doing very well in the bank. I was like, no. I need to resign. And everybody was like, are you all right? You're doing best performance. And I said, that's the problem though. Let me go apply my mind. I resigned in 2003. Finished, I was after doing private banking, setting up another private bank for one of the banks and cash management. I just said, you know what, up and go, I'm not doing. Resigned, and I set up a small limited liability company. Structure was not right. I didn't have counsel. If you're doing business, first thing you take out of this meeting, make sure it's a limited liability or a partnership. Second thing you do is your legal framework. Make sure that at least the minimum, if you are the one that's the main person, give yourself the main shares. Well, that was not what I did. Suffice to say, I remember my first invoice. I was always interested in property management and facility management. I did not know a lot. I told myself, if I wanted to do business at all, the least I owed myself was to go to an entity that had structure, so they would teach me structure. That's all. It was just a strategy. Now, if you are starting business today, yes, you can supply the mom and pop shop, meaning the shop here, the shop there, but go to Mobile and bid. Hear me well, hear me well. If you don't take anything away from there, the people bidding with Mobile, bidding with FRS, bidding with the state governments, they don't have 3 heads. They have structure. It was one of the things that I did for myself, that if I'm going to advise a young business person today, I would say find 5 companies. You are selling the same tiles or you are selling the same kitchenware. Go to those companies that have a structure, bid. Immediately, you will know what you don't have. You don't have team number. You don't have you should have an office. If you don't have an office, they will require your own personal ID, what they call it, personal tax clearance. They will require a long list. Then you will require PENCOM. You will require NSITF. Immediately, your head will clear that if this is business, I'm not ready. Then the work starts. The work now starts without telling stories. You will look for a legal person to guide you with a contract. Please do not do MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. I learned this Memorandum of Understanding story sitting across a friend of mine who gave us a job that ran into a couple $100 million. All we signed was a Memorandum of Understanding. They were now owing us at that time, over $1 million, and I was sitting in front of her. And their company was going bankrupt, and we were asking for our money. When I brought out my contracts, very happily, I have a contract with you. You have to pay me my money now. The lawyer said, Madam, this is a memorandum of understanding. It's an understanding that if we have, we can do with you. If we don't have, all that needed to be changed was it would have been written memorandum of agreement. Small difference, big problem. Trust me that it took us another maybe 2 years to see our money. And then by then, interest has spiraled and a longer period to finally get our money out. What was the issue? Legal framework. You don't want to pay a lawyer, Abi. He will bite you in front. Go and get a lawyer. That lawyer should be on retainer with you, no matter how small. Then the second thing you will require for framework is get an auditor. But you say, my business does not require it. No. You don't wait. Insurance is not the day you have an accident. Insurance is before you have an accident. The day you have an accident, there's nothing to insure. You pay the full range. That's the same way an auditor is. Get an auditor. This is what you require. 1, 2, 3, 4. You put 3 invoices in place and getting ready for business. That's when you know you're now ready. Sometimes we will go and we will dub the largest something in Africa. Well done. It's not a bad story, but it would be nice if you just kept it to a simple vision. And then as small as your business is, brand it. Brand it. If today you're using, what do you call it? Maroon red. Make sure everything is maroon red and gold. Do not today use maroon red, tomorrow gray and black and gray. You know, what are you known for? The reason we know Coca-Cola is once we see the black and the red, we know the holidays are here. You can say, oh, I don't have money. Really? You want a job of 20 million naira. You don't even want to use color of 10,000. This thing that I'm telling you practically from my experience. I bid for a job, my first job in, I think that was the V-Mobile office somewhere in VI. They were renovating, it's on 6 floors. And I just thought to myself, well, yeah, we're into property management and we have some engineers in our office, so we might as well go and bid. So we put the document, we have to go get Koren, go and get NSITF, but it forces you to have process. Hire an HR person, they give you advice. Hopefully you take the advice. You now have JDs, you have KPIs. Process starts to form. Continuity can then be planned. And we went for the bid. That bid, I remember that particular bid. We put the bid up 300 and something pages way back when. Submitted the thing, how we would do the building up. I got somebody to spruce the whole thing up and I submitted it. The current CEO of MTN, that's Carl Torre, he was the person that was the head of that unit at the time. This is V-Mobile. And we were called to defend the bid. I defended the bid. I'll tell you, as Christians, where does the gifting of the Holy Spirit come? Listening to him. The night I was going to go for that, that particular project, I heard the Spirit of God say, give them a 5% discount, don't do more. And I thought to myself, okay, it was a pricing bid. So I went inside. But before I went in, this is where I'm going to. I had a friend in the system and I showed him my documents that I was going to submit. He didn't say anything because he met me as I was submitting it. Then he said there was going to be the second round. He called me aside. He said, Michelle, how much is this document that you're bidding for? I said, 20. That job was our first job. It was 21 million naira. He said 21 million naira, and you brought black and white paper that is not well arranged. If you had done it in color and coded the things according to site, what would have happened to you? I thought, he said you want 21 million naira job, but your effort is less than 5,000. And a number of you will say, bring a proposal. You will bring a rough, short proposal. that you haven't printed the paper well. You know, somebody brought paper to me a few weeks back. I said, if I speak to this young man, this meeting will close. He couldn't print the thing even in color, and he's looking for an opportunity in a couple hundred millions. I just thought this person is not serious, but I didn't tell him that. I said, keep away from him. That's my thought. You cannot be serious. You're coming to a large corporate to look for a job, but you can't even put your house together. So my question now is, after you've done all the social media razzmatazz, how is your presentation? What's your verbiage like? Can we see the same English? Suffice to say, very quickly, I still remember I was near a cyber cafe because my office was far from that place in VI. I ran to one cyber cafe, sat there, told the guy to change the color, adjust the story, pack the thing well, and quickly came and submitted it. And 3 of us were chosen. We went for the meeting. And where does God come in when you bid? You know, we talk about excellence, we talk about integrity. The job had a margin. I couldn't put a lot of margin because they didn't know me. I was a new entrant. And some of you who are just starting, you will hear they say, oh, this company is now 6 million for you to hire whatever the service is. They are the top 10 in the space. You are not the top 50. You want to be priced as them. Bring it down so you can enter. When you enter and they see the value, increase it. Suffice to say, anyway, I got in and I heard the Spirit of God say, give them 5%. And I looked at it, I thought, okay. So I said, Carl is a tough negotiator, himself and one other guy. Michelle, can you do this? Blah, blah, blah. They spoke the English. I refused. I stuck with the 5%. When I was leaving, I thought, God, did I hear God well? Did I hear God well? I'm not sure. When I got out, somebody said, oh, I gave 15%. Another one said, oh, I gave 20. I thought, they can never give me this job. So I went home and I was like, God, I thought I heard you. I got a mail saying, we've been given the job. We will commence in 2 weeks. And they will even give us an advance payment guarantee. First time. So suffice to say, we got the job. That was our break. From then, it moved. We started scaling. What is my point? 2 things I learned. There is a place for the Spirit of God in business. When they later told us why they gave me the job, they said, if this man is sincere, he's giving 20% discount. How much is the job? How much profit is he putting in it? Meaning he will do a shoddy job. That was it. So sometimes you would have to lean into the Spirit of God to do business. I have found for every time I have scaled, I would hear Michelle move to the next level and go like this. But one of the things that I have also learned with God is that, so that particular opportunity that I speak about, and it has made me very generous when I do business. We were in the first that were giving that building to renovate. Later, we were given, I think, 10 head offices to renovate. Lagos, South, North, Central. They gave us the offices for V-Mobile and then now Airtel to manage. And we ran that business or that gig with them for another, say, 10, 15 years. It started small. There wasn't anything. The first invoice was 31,000 naira. We supplied a few things. Then it became 1 million. Then it became 30 million monthly. Then it became almost that. And we just started scaling. We didn't know a lot, but there was one man. His name is Lekon Olashore. One day I'm giving him his flowers today. I didn't know the thing. I'd gotten a big job. I didn't even know what to do. He was the one taking over from me. You would expect that he would be competitive. He's a Christian. He called me, says, sis, you got the job. Now, wow, these people, but we've had a 5-year run. It's okay. It's okay. He said, let me give you my documents so it will be easy for you to enter this opportunity. He gave me the manual that he had used for those 5 years. The whole manual. Many years down the line, after I'd done it for a couple of years, somebody too approached me. And one of my colleagues, I'm sure she's on this call, my sister friend that I've worked with for maybe like 23 years. And they were like, Pastor, why are you going to give it to them now? Blah, blah, blah. I said, we are going to. Someone gave me that opportunity. It's time to pass the baton. I carried the whole manual, 300 pages. I also gave someone. Go and use it and prosper. It will not take from you. It will not take from you. And as I did that, I also know what the Spirit of God said. He said, Michelle, you will start to build sites. So I grew. We had never built sites before. We scaled to building sites and ran that gig for a number of years. We were one of the first. It was such a great opportunity till, of course, we handed it over to another company. Now, why am I telling you this story? You will scale, but you will scale with a plan, a structure, a business development thing. And it taught us filing. As simple, Nigerians were not used to keeping paperwork. One of the things that I'm so grateful to God for, when I look at where we are as a business, what we've lost, what we have built again, what we started out again, I have lost more than I think I've even gained. But in the gaining that I've gained, I've been able to take myself, my family, my children to a place of excellence where I can say, oh, we have been able to do this. And for every time we make money, we put it back in the business and we buy an asset. So I made up my mind that once I have small money, go and buy land. Quickly, I'll buy land far. VGC was so far at that time. We bought something there. That's how you make money. The first one was very difficult to get that first property. We had to join with a bank loan. The second one was a collaboration. In today's business, please don't hustle alone. Hustle in a group. Go find like-minded persons and join together and then collaborate to scale. When you're scaling, don't go alone. Don't go alone. Only you want to eat everything. Well done. You will eat it. You will burn 10 fingers. But if you are 4, one knows ops, one knows BD, one knows accounting, you will have a difference of opinion. No, there'll be demanding days. But you would have structure. And that structure will be the success, so that if you're not there, somebody else must know the story. I did over the past since the beginning of the year, I was called. In my past life, I did investment banking and then left and started managing the Transcorp. I was group commercial director in Transcorp. That meant the acquisition of some of the oil and gas. We had already acquired the Hilton and Ughelli power plants, those assets. My role was to turn it to cash, make sure that we were profitable. And that meant looking at numbers. And one of the things I learned in looking at numbers is you must have a plan that is written out for at least minimum 3 years. It cannot be conversations. It must be written. And then you must have a cash flow that runs the 3 months. How do you scale? If you now have a problem, how do you make sure that you are in business? To that effect, when I look at the mistakes we made, we now spent a lot of money. We have assets, meaning we have properties, but they were not generating rent because we hadn't given them to people to generate rent. We were the same. A sister company of ours was still the one renting, and they were now owing us. And it really impacted our cash flow. So if I'm to do business today, the first thing I will protect is cash flow. And I am doing business. It's cash flow. You see that 2 naira, bread and butter. Don't play with it. Don't hold that customer well, the one that pays you on time. It is said, and it is true, if you go into those tough places, 80% of your income will come from 20% of your customers. Go and check it if you're doing your numbers right. Let me repeat it. 80% of your income will come from 20% of your customers. Check it. But the risk of that is if they sneeze, you must carry handkerchief, carry Panadol, because if anything happens to them, you will also suffer. That's the truth. So you have to be able to read the market. And if you don't read the market and know when to run, there's this book. Please, if you haven't read that book before, go read it. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? When the market moves, Nigeria is in survival mode. What are you doing to survive? What are you doing? You will say, oh, I only went to school. I have hairdressing. In that hairdressing salon, go to Inkori and buy hair products. And also buy small things that we can buy, so that when we enter the place, I will buy my comb from you. I will buy my what's it called from you. There's an extra 20K that makes up for the rent of the place. 20K every day is small 100K. 100K would defray two staff or one person's salary. You have to be innovative in business and do not give yourself excuse. So in setting up a business, first thing is the hustle culture has to calm down. Structure has to be it, and it cannot be sentimental. And the structure must run with a legal framework and upstream. Keep your costs low. Keep your cost, your rental cost, your people using stuff. And that's where we want to talk to Christians. You know, you come to the office, the office has paid you, but you have a program like this, so you will log into the office Wi-Fi, finish their Wi-Fi, and the Lord is with you. The Lord is not with you. You are deceiving yourself. You are deceiving yourself. Finish their data. Then when you now hire, you open your own business tomorrow, somebody will just sit down and be downloading movies on your, and you'll be wondering, why are they doing this to me? Go and check what you sold. I'm sorry, we're talking about integrity here. Integrity starts from managing the asset as if it's your own. That's integrity. Forget the story, the eye service, the integrity. This is me. I bought 24,000 naira data to last me for 1 month. Then you now come and you think I'm not seeing you, and you will stream all the thing finish. Then the office will not have data, and you say, you know, my boss is not doing right. You are not doing it right. You're not doing it right. Or you're supposed to go somewhere on a call, you will visit your brother, you will visit your sister with company car. Then when you are finished the fuel in this economy, you come back and keep the car for them. These seeds you sow wait for you. It will wait for you. It will wait for you. So if you want to do business, you have to put processes, but you have to hold yourself accountable. You, the Oga, has to do it right. And then the Omoshe has to behave themselves. So going on, the Bible says that he is the one that gives us power to get wealth. So how do I get wealth? When I'm now bidding, how do I, the kick back, kick front? How are we doing it? Is it after? Is it before? How do we razzmatazz the English? You see, I've lost more opportunities than I've gained, but I have always been able to sleep well. Somebody, my niece used to tell me, she would say, Pastor, you don't read the room well. And I'm glad I don't read it well. And I really like that I don't read it well. So they'll just say, this one, she speaks a lot of Weibo. She will not know, she doesn't know she's supposed to give us something. I know, but I will give you after you've done your job, not before. It's true. Not before. We will be greeting ourselves. The most I can bring, I'll bring a bottle of groundnut to your office. Okay, now. I was coming and I bought you this groundnut, but that's we are going to do. No, please, just have mercy, have mercy, please, just have mercy. We want to make money, but want to make it with sense. And then if you're going to be trusted in your business, I remember working for my boss, the damn boss I was working with, and he would give me FX dollars to go. It's Christmas time to go give to different persons. My colleagues used to laugh at me because when I go there, the whole 500,000, sorry, that's really the figure. It was quite an amount of money, $500,000. It's an oil and gas. Was thank you for whatever. So you give it. People would take from it, then share it. So some of my colleagues, people would pick from the money anyway. The 500 will not get to where it's going. And I didn't know he was having a problem with it. But for every time I would go, when I finish, I'll just say, please talk to my boss. So my boss would, you say, oh, Michelle just delivered 500. And he kept saying, nobody ever called figures for him till I came. It's one of the best things that I was grateful to God for. They will call the figure, and then he will confirm that it's the 500. When they send you, do not join them and cut the corners. Don't be that person. Eventually, I started doing more, and more was given to me. And people will say, for the type of money I've seen move, if it is given to me, I would have built house by now. You will build it, Wala will meet you. You're a Christian. You're a Christian. You will delay it. When you now start your business, you will be able to do extremely well. But you will do it knowing that you were a careful steward in somebody else's business. And you must steward like it is you. You don't need somebody to say, come in early. Come in early and be one of the ones that go late or go at least on time. Give Caesar what is Caesar's. Do not pretend that you don't know. And if you want to do it, you've come for, let's say, Thursday showers, 1 hour. Then you now just another 1 hour. Your lunch break is 1 hour. Now just another one. Then you now say, you will make it up. No, please take your lunch break and go back like somebody that's in a hurry. Be in a hurry. Be about your father's business. That workplace is, you are an apostle or a minister in that place. The Bible says that we are called, we are called, the pastorate teaches the brethren. And then the brethren are the ones that take the message out. You are the pastor in the marketplace. You are. They will not come to church. They're reading you. And when you work with people, I've found Christians sometimes one of the toughest and meanest individuals at work. Very two-faced. Very, very two-faced. You'll find the person, he will smile at you, but he'll be the first person to report to you. See, instead of reporting the person, call them and teach them. Someone taught you. What you don't want to happen to you, don't do to another. Don't do. Train them. I have an opportunity to provide transition or transformation services to a particular hotel, a 5-star hotel, and my mandate was to help them hire a CEO or a GM and then train their persons for a period. And as I started talking to the staff on an individual basis, I just realized that there was a lot of backbiting and a lot of conversations that were not just right. So one day we had a meeting with some of the staff, the guest experience persons, and I told them, I said, see, guys, I want to plead with you. You have to nurture your staff. If they do wrong, call them to one corner, have a hard conversation, but don't be in a hurry to keep reporting them. You will break their spirit and they will not be able to deliver what you're looking for. You can't be that boss that you are so acrimonious who are running from you. What testament is that? And they were like, no, people don't hear. And I said, you know what? Also, I like the 360 HR where the junior person is allowed to appraise you. There's a boss that I had, and that particular boss, I remember very clearly telling the boss that, no, he was very unkind to us. And I'm serving a customer, he will call us names. Americans at Citibank, Americans could be quite tough with their language, and they will call heavy names. And I wondered at how it worked. But he would be nasty to us. Then they started 360. And all of us ganged up on him, including me, to say that he does not treat people kindly. He was actually removed from that front office and that big man space and moved to the back of the office. I didn't feel bad, though. I was very happy about it. So as we are here, how do you treat people? Excellence is the ability to make sure that another person that you're dealing with gets kindness from you. They sometimes are you are the gospel that they will read. And people come to the office with grief. My staff that have left, and I'm grateful to God for that. I get messages from them. We had about, I think, like 5 or 6 drivers. They wanted to go abroad, and we helped 3 to different countries. And one of the staff, when we will go to that country, the driver will be the person that will come and take us around. But we helped them because they wanted to go to school. So we first helped them here and they moved. What is my point? With people, you have to treat people humanely. Excellence and stewardship is what you are called to do. And when you do that, you're sure that the enterprise that you are building will last. At the end of it, just to begin to round up, one of the things I have learned after you have made all the money, you have now settled, how do you give back? What do you do? You start putting long-term structures. Go and bid in places that give you 5-year contracts, please. Don't do 1 year. Look for opportunities that give you 15 years. I thought I knew partnerships till we got an opportunity with the Nigerian Army and they gave us 35 years. That's when I realized that whatever I thought I knew, I did not know a lot. But to enter that thing, we have been trying to enter it for 3 years. It is better. You are not competing with anybody. The person building a 1-story can never be the same with you building an 11-story. Do not build a short business. Build a legacy business that your children will benefit from. And if they don't want to take it, please give an outsider to manage for you and then put something back into that community. The reason we actually targeted the army was very simple. We wanted to hold outreaches inside there and also take funding to them. And now we're looking at taking nutritional opportunities to them. What is your take? And what is your role as you do business? So for everyone who's here, I plead with you to consider that. First, you have a mandate to go and get the best opportunity. Stop scrimping on yourself. Secondly, settle down to structure. We're happy to, you've heard us in the business fellowship. We will train you if you're available. Sign up, join us. We will train you for it. But excellence is a plan. And the journey of excellence starts one step at a time. But you must have structure, and then you must have a commitment that the resources, the assets, and the human capital or human relationship, which is the bigger money. You actually make more money from people than you make from knowing a lot. You might not know a lot, they will give you the job. I'm very serious. I like you, come and take the job. This is how to do it. It is an uncommon favor that should follow a Christian. You must not hustle everything. You must not. So without taking more time, I hope this has helped. There's a lot to say, but there is a time to it. And I hope it made a small difference in how you see business.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Michelle.
Thank you.
Very, very amazing points. I'm sure we can all attest to the fact that the price for excellence is very high. And truly, not so many people strive to raise that bar. And I'm sure that all that Dr. Michelle has said has spurred something in us to think and plan and appropriate our resources to ensure that as we go about building our businesses, we think about excellence, we think about integrity, and we think about how to steward great and long-lasting enterprises. Right. At this very point in time, we're about to bring in our last speaker. And as much as we have understood what it takes to be called, what it means to be sent, and what is required to build with excellence and to steward resources, to build great enterprises, right? At this point, we would all be asking ourselves, what is the ultimate goal? By the time we have that understanding of our calling, build with excellence, how do we use all of this to influence and impact kingdom values? How do we create influence and impact? Without further ado, our final speaker for tonight is a globally recognized thought leader, a futurist, and a best-selling author, a strategist, and a transformational teacher. If you are not clapping, I would not release this, our last speaker, to you. He's a Forbes, Wall Street Journal, and USA best-selling author. USA Today, I beg your pardon, is the recipient of the 2024 US President's Lifetime Achievement Award and the Chief Knowledge Officer of Feedback from the Future LLC. For over 25 years, he has advised leaders, organizations, and institutions around the world, helping them navigate change, leadership, innovation, and the future. He's known to many as the Ruckus and a powerful communicator who delivers over 100 speaking engagements every single year. Beyond his global influence, PK has deeply committed himself to advancing kingdom culture and shaping the future of leadership, faith, and society through wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Pastor Olakunle Shorinyo, aka PK.
Thank you so much, my brother. I really appreciate you. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you, sir.
I want to really appreciate my friend who I'm sure took the first session, Dr. Larry Olushola, amazing soldier, great warrior in my blood. It's a pleasure to have enjoyed and to take from his resource background today. Dr. Michelle, I thank you for your support. I sat in the last minute. Amazing stuff. Thank you for all that you bring. We're also grateful for our senior pastor, Pastor Jimmy Odukoya, who had been gracious and magnanimous to believe in the path that the business fellowship is going and to continue to offer transferable, measurable, significant support for the type of vision that we are communicating. So I also appreciate everybody that has been here through all the sessions, and it's a blessing for me to take this session. Please bear with me. I am in the middle of a lot. It's just 12 o'clock in the afternoon, about past 1 in the afternoon where I am. So it's in the thick of my activity of the day. So the logistics is not working at all. I just had to find a way to do this. You won't believe it. I'm holding my phone with my hands. You know, I was going to take my phone holder to be able to hold it wherever I find myself, but I forgot it somewhere. And so I have to do it with my hands. So things may shake, my hands may move, my background may shake. I am in a work environment. People are right behind me. I came here for a meeting. And so please bear with me. All right. So the conversation is very compelling all day. And I want to challenge everyone on this call to pretty much
How far is it? So far,
Can you
so
hear
good.
me? Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Somebody will need to mute. I think we are hearing someone. You need to mute. Yeah, thank you. Please check that you are muted so that you don't obstruct the conversation. So last weekend in Dallas, 2 things happened. One, I spoke at an event called 100 Bosses of Dallas, 100 Bosses of Dallas. And I happened to be the keynote speaker. The next day, I was hosting my own event at my office, and it was about the Eden economy. Eden as in EDEN, Garden of Eden economy. And there's an economy there. And that was also the subject of my conversation on Friday at the Dallas 100 Bosses of Dallas, right? And 2 things are very striking. There are about 7 ideas in the Eden economy, but I'm going to focus on 2 critical ones today, maybe 3 if we have time. And it begins with a thought. Imagine that you find yourself in the United States or in Rome, as they say. When you are in Rome, you behave like the Romans. Why? Because the Romans essentially have defined the type of culture that represents the agenda that they have committed to. So it's either you serve that agenda or you are punished for not serving the agenda. That's why they have laws. That's why they have the legislature, the judiciary. That's why they have the executive. In any geography, there are protocols, there are rules, there are logistics, there are different things that define and govern behavior. To put all of them together, you will say there is a culture. In a company, there will be a corporate culture. There's culture everywhere. In the world, there's pop culture, there's popular culture. Ideas, systems, structures that pretty much aggregate behavior, understanding, right? And define permissions and exits and entries, right? Within that geography, you see? So part of that means that if you don't understand the rules, the protocols, the laws, the constitution that define a geography, you will be unguarded in that geography, not because you want to, but just because you are ignorant about the necessary type or level of awareness that you need to have. So you will sincerely struggle in that environment. Now, the reason why you are struggling is not because prosperity is not available. It's essentially because you don't know the protocol of that prosperity. So people are sincerely in jail. People are sincerely poor. People are sincerely frustrated. People are sincerely killed, sincerely raped. Sincerity, as awesome a virtue as it is, it's not a factor of production. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. You can't find sincerity there because sincerity, as powerful as it is a dependent variable. It's not an independent variable. It's not a variable that once you have it, you have a lot of other things. No. If you have it and you don't have a sense of mission, a sense of thoroughness, a sense of urgency, you will still struggle, even with your sincerity. You can be sincerely poor. You can be sincerely short. You can be sincerely frustrated. You can be sincerely in jail, right? Because sincerity is a dependent variable. You have to add a lot of other variables to sincerity. So that promotes science, that promotes structure, that promotes systems. That is, it's not enough to want something. It's not even enough to be aware of what is possible. What is enough is the capacity to understand the necessary protocol that defines that thing. You cannot jump into a pool and swim on your own terms, right? If you jump into a swimming pool, there is a protocol of swimming. There is a protocol of swimming that you must know. Now, if you don't swim according to the protocol and you say, well, I'm an adult, I'm 44, I want to swim like this. I don't want to move my hands. I don't want to move my legs. I just want to chill like this in the water. Because you are an adult, you have the freedom to chill as you want, to posture as you want. But you are going to sincerely die as an adult in that water as well. You will not be less an adult when you are dying. Is that if you are going to live, you have to know three things. You have to know that you are in a pool. Two, that has a protocol. Three, you must yield. If you yield to that protocol, you will have your right, but you are going to drown on your terms, right? So it doesn't matter how diligent, determined, focused you are. The wrong strategy is the wrong outcomes. The wrong knowledge, the wrong clarity, the wrong knowledge is the wrong outcome. That's why the Bible says, my people that perish for lack of knowledge, right? They perish for what they don't know. So it comes down to what you know. But when you are in a geography, you cannot experience anything beyond the promise. Can somebody give me a signal that you can hear me? I think something knocked me off and just knocked me back. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. We can hear
Great.
you now.
Hey, Baba, I hear you. Thank you. So guys, I was saying that you then have, no, I don't know what I was saying again. I get distracted like that. What was I saying, please? Somebody help me. That's it.
People perish for lack of knowledge.
Baba, I hear you. Thank you. So People perish for lack of knowledge, and they do that sincerely. It happens sincerely, right? You know, people talk about humble beginning. They say, though that beginning was small, the end should increase greatly. It's true. The end should is a word of possibility. It means it doesn't have to increase. It did not say the end must increase or will increase. It says the end should increase. God giving, you receiving, your end will increase. It means if you miss that protocol, you can be in humble beginning for the rest of your life. You can be, you won't be the last. The idea is there's something to know. And what I've found is that a lot of Christians find themselves in a world that is defined by a system, and they also interpret their own possibilities by the limits of the promise of that system. So if you are in Rome, you function within the limits of the promises of Rome. If you are in New York, you function within the limits of the promises of New York. If you are in Nigeria, you are going to have to function within the promises of Nigeria, right? And that is how people surrender themselves. And it makes sense. That is called orderly thinking, right? Except that when it comes to the kingdom, we don't know. Most Christians don't know the limits of the protocol of the kingdom. So what do? We are in the kingdom, but we function in the kingdom with the protocol of the world. So we think like within the standards of the world. So if you don't have money in your bank account, the culture says you cannot do anything, so we don't attempt anything. Meanwhile, in our kingdom, zero is a lot. In fact, the world was created out of nothing. The culture teaches you to be embarrassed and intimidated by zero. So if you don't see money in your bank account, you can't get anything done, right? But zero is not nothing in our kingdom. Zero is a lot, right? Having nothing yet owning everything, right? Those are scriptures of the kingdom. And when you think that the whole world was made out of nothing, you have to know that nothing is an asset and a strategy at a level that needs clarity and understanding. So some of the biggest projects in the world, call it from Elon. Elon probably salary in a year is less than $5, if I remember, because you don't need to see money within a space. You need to understand how ideas move, their structure and the kingdoms that define the character of that idea, how you can plug into the economy that represents that idea, and how you can manifest that. Now, you don't need a dime to be able to do that. You just need to be able to put people together within a geography, honoring some moments. Everything you will ever know is between people. Am I still here? Yeah. Everything we ever know is right there between people, geography, moments. In other words, people, places, and moments. So what I want to communicate is a different understanding. And I want you to pay attention because this is very important. The question I want to start with, and I'm going to do my best to round this up as fast as I can, but the question I want to start with is, in the Garden of Eden, there was no perfection. I hope you know that the Garden of Eden was not a perfect geography. It wasn't a perfect geography because we need to understand the geography of the kingdom so that we can know the rules of the kingdom. And in the kingdom, you don't need a master's degree. You don't need PhDs. You don't need a lot of what you think you need. I mean, you don't need them. It doesn't mean you don't use them. It doesn't mean you don't pay attention to them. It doesn't even mean you don't acquire them. But never for one moment consider that anything of that nature are the necessities of your expression. They are the prerequisites, the precursors, the things you must have to be able to express yourself at the highest level possible. No. The conversation of the kingdom is completely different, and you have to function in that economy. Otherwise, you'll be using Nigerian mentality to function in America. And I tell Nigerians in America, I said, Nigerians don't live in America. Nigerians live in Nigeria, inside America. Nigerians live in Nigeria inside Canada. That's how we function. We bring our geography to where we are. We pastor each other. Please bear with me, people. Hello? Can somebody help me with that clarity? Just to be sure that...
We can hear you.
Somebody sent a message that they can't hear me. Thank you, Baba. So, yeah, killer sono.
Nigerians live in Nigeria,
Yes.
in America, and Canada.
Awesome. So Nigerians live in Nigeria inside. There is a sympathetic resonance that brings us together, such that we are in a new environment that doesn't belong to us. We are not trying to fulfill the highest qualities in that environment. We're just trying to impress ourselves. In other words, if we do something that environment does not recognize at all, but our people in that environment recognize it as some form of value, we find high contentment. Unlike the Indians, who are territorial in their thinking and they want to take over, right? Part of that is to understand what that environment promises. You see, America is not a natural country. It's an invented thing. It's a human invention. So they don't have indigenization there, right? In Nigeria, there's indigenization. You have somebody from Agarawu in Lagos, in Nigeria, is first of all from Agarawu before he's from Lagos Island. Then is first of all from Lagos Island before he's from Lagos. Then is first of all from Lagos before he's from the West. Then is first of all from the West before he's Yoruba. And then is first of all from Yoruba, before he's from the South. And then is from the South before he's in Nigeria. So look at where Nigeria is. So when I hear people define patriotism, I just laugh. I said, this guy is more loyal to his indigenization than his nationality. So if you want to define patriotism, you are going to struggle, right? We carry that mentality to where we are. But except that in America, for example, there's no concept of indigenization. So two brothers from the same family, the same mother and father, one will be governor in Texas, the other one will be governor in Florida. That's the Bush brothers. George was governor in Texas. Jeb was governor in Florida. That's like in Nigeria, somebody is the governor of Lagos State and his brother from the same mother and father is the governor of Enugu State. I mean, it's not possible. You have to come from there, right? Have resource background there for you to be able to lead that environment. So they don't have indigenization. So they have no loyalty to any corner. Nothing accrues to you as an American except you are an American, right? Not because you are from the North or if you are from the South or because your people didn't go to school, your people go to school, and so there's a cutoff point for you to gain admission. There's nothing like that. It's either you meet the standard as an American or you don't, right? In that type of environment, you see that, okay, so what does this country rewards? This country is like a device. You know how you have a phone and the phone that you have, please stay with me, there's a place I'm going, and the phone that you have, can text, can make a call. Somebody else with that same phone will text, make a call, scan, and take pictures. Somebody else with that same phone will scan, take pictures, call, text, and then use a calendar, and then run a program, record a show, make a video, make a documentary from your same phone. It's the same phone in the hand of three different people, but they are getting three different experiences. Why? Because their knowledge of the device is the determinant of the value they gain from the device. The device is a constant. It has all the capacity to give you any experience that you want within the limits of the knowledge that you have. So America is like a device. And America is designed for only one person. The only person America is designed for is the dreamer. If you are not a dreamer in America, you are a slave of the dreamer, you are a victim of the dreamer, or a casualty of the dreamer, or at best, a partner of the dreamer. America is really built for dreamers. Once you are not a dreamer, you are going to struggle within that environment, right? That is the character of the environment. The question is, what is the character of the kingdom? How does the kingdom of God function? So let us return to Eden, which is where the whole, thing began, right? So let's be clear that the Garden of Eden was not perfect. If it was perfect, Satan will not be there. If Adam himself was perfect, Eve would have been unnecessary, right? If the garden was perfect, Adam will not have the responsibility to till the garden, nurture the garden, cultivate, and all of that, right? Anything perfect does not require adaptation. That's why God doesn't adapt, right? God doesn't change. He doesn't adjust his esteem because he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So if the garden was perfect, then there would be no need for exertion of any kind. There would be no work, right? So the garden was not perfect. But to be clear, everything flawed is imperfect, but not everything imperfect is flawed. I'll take that again. Everything flawed is imperfect, but not everything imperfect is flawed. There are a lot of things not perfect, but they are not flawed. It's just necessity for improvement. So the idea of imperfection transcends the limits of character in terms of flawedness of character. There is a part of imperfection at the highest level that also speaks to the necessity of newness, the necessity of improvement, the necessity of introduce today to is tomorrow without anything being flawed. Like iPhone 14 was in iPhone 13 as an incompletion. iPhone 13 was in iPhone 12 as an incompletion. iPhone 12 was an excellent phone, but it wasn't a perfect phone. The next level of iPhone 12 was in iPhone 12 as an imperfection. iPhone 13 was the imperfection of iPhone 12. So what you do is you find that loophole, the incompleteness, the imperfection in iPhone 12. You build solution blueprints around that imperfection to birth the next level of iPhone 12, which is iPhone 13, right? iPhone 15 was in iPhone 13 or iPhone 14 as an imperfection. The next level of a thing is in the imperfection of the thing. So I tell people every time, you cannot be frustrated by your imperfection. You cannot babysit yourself for the rest of your life. You will never do anything. You will be correct about what you cannot do, which is the recognition of weakness, but you will never be able to build any form of momentum. So this is a garden created by God that was not perfect. Like I said, if it was perfect, Satan will not be there. If it was perfect, Adam will not be imperfect. If Adam was perfect, Eve will have been unnecessary. If the garden was perfect, there will be no need for work. There will be no need for Adam to be nurturing it, taking care of it, cultivating it, and doing all of that. So the question is, if the Garden of Eden was excellent, remember Adam had no need. Long before lack began, long before there was necessity for succeeding, what exactly is our pre-fall condition? What was pre-fall condition about? People say that, Adam went into the water to name the animals, and I believe it. But I speak to some atheists who say stuff like, how can a human being go into the water? Can you do that now? Can you go into the water and go and be there for weeks and naming animals? And I'm like, you see, what you are doing is you will never get this answer to this question until you die and get to heaven, right? Why? Because you don't know the condition of the water. You are using your modern understanding of language to define pre-fall condition. Because the water that he was going into cannot kill. Adam was not going to die. So whatever has happened, when Adam fell, right, the whole creation was subject to futility till now, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. The whole creation, land, air, oxygen, water, everything, the tree, everything, the clouds, everything is subject to futility because of the fall. So Everything is in his wicked condition. Everything, the plants, the grass, everything you see, oxygen, everything, including water. So the water that Adam was going into is not the same water that you know now. Right. This water, this sea, this Atlantic Ocean, this is post-fall water. We don't know. We will never know how pre-fall water was, because pre-fall water has not got into fertility, but post-fall water has gotten into fertility. You see, Adam wasn't going to die. So whatever he was taking into, even I've asked people, will we post-fall, will be going to the toilet, because things will not be perishing. You take something in that will nourish your body. How will pre-fall look like? I've tried to document a book about pre-fall. I got stuck somewhere, so I'm not writing it again for now. But pre-fall condition is a different condition. We'll have cars if man did not fall. We will need Wi-Fi if man did not fall. I can tell you something though. We are not going to be jogging naked like Adam was jogging. We're going to have those are the introduction of the condition of that time to his future. Though Adam was naked, if man did not fall and man had eaten the tree of life and became incapable of falling again, he will still have to get better. He will still have to improve. He will still have to come to some type of transportation that is not what we know today, but will be a type of transportation, maybe teleporting. We don't know. There will be a way to access data. It may not be clouds, it may not be internet, but there will be a way. There will be a civilization in heaven that will be here and will be functioning scientifically on a level that you will not know a lot of things. You will not know success. In the Garden of Eden, there was no success. Success, in the way we talk about it, is a pre-fall condition. In the Garden of Eden, Adam had no need. The question I want to ask everybody on this call is, why was Adam walking? What was the necessity of work in an environment that has no lack? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. There are people on this call that if we give you $20 billion today, you probably will not work again for the rest of your life. Really. You wouldn't think of any project. You will not do anything again. Adam's condition was better than $20 billion. He wouldn't even appreciate it because he had no need. There was no underscoring of lack of any kind. He wasn't trying to build a career. He wasn't looking forward to a salary. He wasn't looking forward to a reward. What was Adam seeking? Why was he working? Why was work necessary in the Garden of Eden? It's a symposium discussion. I wish I had more time to really break all of that down. But whatever it was that was driving Adam to walk in the Garden of Eden, that's why you should be walking now in God's kingdom. And once you understand that, everything changes. The operating system that defines your experience in the universe and the kind of reward structure that comes to you. The reason why you want to be as rich as Elon Musk, as rich as Bill Gates, is still because you cannot imagine the economy of the kingdom and all that is possible with it. So you to think from that perspective, and Elon ceased to be your benchmark, and Bill Gates ceased to be your benchmark, and the unsearchable riches of Christ begins to be hidden wealth of secret places, begin to be your inspiration and your benchmark for defining growth and meaning. What has happened is your focus changes. Why was Adam walking in the garden? Because of time, I will tell you. Adam was in the garden to introduce the present to his future. So if you find one word for why he was walking, it's elevation. Adam was elevating the prevailing condition of the garden to its next condition, right? The necessary experience he must have. That's what Adam was doing. Now, he wasn't doing that from lack. He didn't need anything. He didn't need food. He didn't need shelter. He didn't need anything. He didn't need to take care of his family in that sense. He wasn't trying to secure the future. He wasn't looking for financial freedom. He wasn't trying to make it. He wasn't trying to win. And when Jesus I'm sorry, this thing just keeps knocking me out. I don't know why. So where was I? Boom, 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 boom. Jesus. So Jesus said, in Matthew 5. In Matthew 5, Jesus said, look at the birds of the sky. They don't spin, they don't have websites, they don't do presentations, they don't do PowerPoints, they don't have a podcast, they don't do all those things that you do, but your heavenly Father will take care of them. He said, look at the lilies of the field. They don't spin, they don't stretch, but even Solomon in all his glory is not as arrayed as one of these. That's one of them. That's the lilies of the field, right? Now, then he said something that knocks me out every time. He said, if we take care of the birds of the sky, the lilies of the field, he said, how much more you? Then he said, oh, you of little faith. He said, how much more? Let me tell you, that phrase, how much more, do you know what it means? That phrase, how much more, means that whatever is working for the bird, whatever is able to reward the bird without him spinning and doing all of that, an easier one is available for you. So when he says, how much more, whatever defines the ease of the bird, a simpler one, an easier one is available for you, right? So that takes you back to the garden, because in the garden, there was ease. What we lost after the fall was ease and essentially that's the beginning of toiling and hustling. And a lot of what we call reward today are essentially from hustling, right? You are not supposed to hustle. You don't jump around pursuing your dreams, right? You position for your dreams. In the Garden of Eden, the element there was so the Bible says that goodness and mercy shall not be before you to be pursued all the days of your life. You don't pursue your dreams. You position for your goodness. The days was that condition. Goodness and mercy are not before you, they are behind you. Goodness and mercy follow you, not for a while, on your good day, on your best day, on your worst day. Goodness and is still following you. It didn't follow you when you are smart. It doesn't follow you when you are foolish. So I'm so sorry. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter your state, on your best day, on your worst day, goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. So goodness and mercy, your dreams gravitate towards you. Your possibilities are gravitating towards you. What is happening to people is you are looking for what is looking for you. You are looking for your dreams. You are seeking goodness and goodness and mercy is seeking you. So you keep missing each other. For the past 25 years, you've been missing each other. For the past 30 years, you've been missing each other. What you are supposed to do is to stop moving around. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength. Be still and know that I am God. So you need to come out of the economy of hustle and come into the economy of positioning. You need to position for your dreams, because everything is designed to gravitate towards you. You are in a receiving mode, not really, driving mode. You are in receiving mode. You are in receiving positioning, right? Everything is being done for you. You are, you know how they say done for you? Or this is done for you, like houses you did not build, like debts you did not create, like ownership that you did not work for. That's the kind of thing happening in Eden, right? In the Eden economy, you position for things, right? And you are elevating things. That means that everything you do is not because of yourself. Everything you do is for the geography, is for the land, is for the world, is for the elements, is for the universe. So why are you doing what you're doing? If you are doing it because you want to take care of your family, you want to feed your children, you will be okay, but you are not in that economy. In that economy, we don't acknowledge need. we acknowledge distribution. We don't acknowledge our own lack. We acknowledge our own responsibility and what we give. We don't hoard, we share, we distribute. We are always seeking the next value we can give, right? So because of time, I have to close it here, but understand that more is available than you can imagine, more is ahead than you can think of, but most importantly, more is coming up. You need to do is to understand your spiritual condition. What are the things that you have to do in the world to make it? We can answer that question. What are the things you have to do in the kingdom to fulfill your purpose and your mandate, right? Those are the questions. Maybe we'll get to Q&A, we'll trash those kind of things, but your spiritual alignment is your most supreme asset, right? So I'm sure there'll be feedback at some point, and I'm hoping somebody will ask that question so that I can lean into that. But technically, so that I can avoid missing my time and going over it as I've already done, let me just end it here, and hopefully we'll anchor the remaining on Q&A. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, PK. You to all our speakers, you would recognize that everyone actually has a whole lot to say, and we just have to try and condense and collapse everything to the short time we have here. Right. So very quickly, because we are a bit past time, kindly put your questions in the chat box. Right. Kindly put your questions in the chat box. Questions you may have for Dr. Michelle, questions you may have for Dr. Lanry or for PK himself. Right. Let's gather them. We might only be able to just work with about 4 questions. Right. So please quickly share your questions in the chat room, and we would randomly select 4 just to save time. Right. I hope we were, as we say in church, hope we were blessed today. Right. I hope we learned a lot. I hope we picked a whole lot that would help us understand how to work better, do business better, right? Live a life above the hustle, finding our calling as we go through the marketplace, having that understanding that we are apostles in the market, and it's not just all about making money and struggling and just going with the grind, right? Your questions, please. Let's have our questions in the chat room. While we are gathering the questions, we did promise to reveal our winner for the game earlier, right? And the winner, after series of collation and a well-read and reviewed set of ballot papers. Essentially, the winner is Abiodun Jacob. Abiodun Jacob, thank you. And thank you for everyone that also participated in the game. Thank you for everyone that joined. And most importantly, thank you to all our speakers. I have learned a lot myself, and I'm sure everyone here has learned a lot as well. We're waiting for your questions so we can wrap up with the Q&A session. So kindly put your question in the chat box. Abiodun Jacob, can you send a private chat in the chat box with your contact details so you can get credited tonight? Yes. So if you are still on the call, Abiodun detail. If you're not around, we might have to select another winner. Is Abiodun Jacob still here with us? Oh, great, great, great. Okay. Oh, you said you can't hear clearly. Is my voice audible or is it your network? Am I audible? Am I audible to everyone? Okay, okay, great. So Abiodun Jacob, send me a private chat. Send me a private chat. Send me a private chat and we would just send your contact details so you can get credited. Right. So we need our questions. Let's try and see if we have some questions on YouTube. Informed that we have some people joining on YouTube as well. But for us here in the Zoom space, kindly share your questions. Okay, while we're doing that, I might have a few questions myself as well. My first question would be to Dr. Lanre. Right. So, sir, many believers pray for success in business, and very few see their work as a divine assignment. In practical terms, I don't know if you could help us exegete the difference between running a business for income and building a business from a sense of calling. So
All right.
over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ayo, for that question. I want to celebrate my brother from another mother, Kunle PK. Such a joy to hear you speak about Eden, lifting our spirits and really telling us who we are, and what kingdom we belong to, and how we should be living our lives. And thank you very much, Dr. Michelle, for sharing your story. Very, very powerful, very, very impactful. And I want to also really, really celebrate the Business Fellowship of the Fountain of Life Church and my brother, the lead pastor of the Fountain of Life Church, Pastor Jimmy. So look, the Bible says that many are the plans of a man, but only the purpose of God shall be fulfilled. So many are the aspirations, many are the pursuits of a man, but only the purpose of God shall be fulfilled. The Bible says that before we were formed in our mother's womb, God knew us, He predestined, He preordained us, and set us on a course um, in our existence to fulfill a mission, a purpose, and a mandate. So the reason why you had to be created, the reason why you had to be dispatched at such a time as you are in existence now, in such a geography that you are existing now, is simply to fulfill the mission, the mandate, and the purpose of God. And the secret to fulfillment, satisfaction, a sense of accomplishment and joy is when you find purpose or purpose finds you and you are fulfilling your purpose. So it is very, very important for us to understand, for us to accept, for us to begin to change our mindsets, to begin to understand that the essence of our existence is the mission for which we are sent and to fulfill it. How do we measure, Ayo, if I send you on an errand and I say to you, I need you to go to Ijebu Ode, or I need you to go to Ogun State tomorrow. I need you to spend 3 days there, and I need you to do A, B, C, and D. And I need you to come back with this result. How do we measure your success? We measure your success not by virtue of what you want to do, when you want to go, and what you want to come back with. We measure your success by virtue of what the sender sends you to go and do, who the sender sends you to, and the outcome that the sender requires for you to come back with. And the sender already knows that there's a duration, there's a time frame, right, for you to fulfill that mission that is sending you. And the way that many of us live life is, we do not take cognizance of the sender, number one. We do not take cognizance of what the sender sends us to go and do. We don't take cognizance of the time frame, the duration, and the mandate that the sender sends us, and the assignment, and most importantly, how the sender is going to measure the outcome of the message that he sent us to send. And this is why it is so important for us as believers to focus on the Matthew 25 stories, right? Jesus was teaching, he was teaching about the kingdom. He says the kingdom of God is like 5 virgins. The 5 virgins and 5 foolish ones and 5 wise ones, 10 virgins in total. If you read that story, they all were made a promise. But 5 of them were strategic. 5 of them planned. 5 of them had contingency plans. 5 of them, they put their thinking cap, they put it on, and they planned for contingencies. What if? The Bible says that, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Many believers have stopped thinking. The Bible says, come, let us reason together. God requires for you to reason with him, for you to strategize with him in the regard of the assignment that he has sent you. So many believers are like the 5 foolish virgins. But he didn't stop there. Jesus went on to say that the kingdom of God is like a man that had 3 categories of servants. Some he gives 5, some he gives 2, and some he gives 1 talent. And he expects us, to multiply. He expects us to replenish. He expects us to be fruitful with whatever it is that is the assignment and the gifts and the knowledge and everything that he has given us to succeed. And the one with the 1 talent went to bury. Many of us have buried every single resource that God has given us, for he has given us everything that we need to fulfill that which we need to fulfill. And can two walk together except they be in agreement. And so the essence of your existence from everything that I've said is to find alignment between yourself, your thinking, your belief system, your faith system, and everything that you do to align with the reason why you are here. The reason why you wake up every morning is because you are in purpose and your purpose is still relevant. So it is important for you to look up consistently, to ask God, what is the mission? What is the assignment? And how can I give full expression to it? It is important for you to look within and ask yourself, what are those inherent gifts and talents and abilities, right? Passion, interest that lies deep within you. It's important for you to look behind you and for you to ask, what are those things historically that effortlessly were the problems that you solved, that you could solve without getting paid, that you could solve in your sleep, that if they woke you up at 2 a.m., you'll be able to solve it. It's important for you to look around you at problems that call you, at people's pain that call you, as people's needs that call you, and apply yourself to it. It's important for you to look ahead and ask yourself, what legacy do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered? What is the reason why you are here? What is the assignment that God has called you to? What is the solution that you were born to be? And it's important for you to align yourself with that. And that is why we're here. We're here not to fulfill our own mission. We're here to fulfill kingdom mission. And it is our responsibility to find it or to position ourselves in such a way that it finds us. And it's important for you to have an intimate and personal relationship with God. It's important for you to have a very, very close fellowship with the Spirit of God that teaches you and shows you all things. I yield the mic.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, sir. because of time, we might only just be able to take one more question, right? So we'll be going with that of Elizabeth's. The question says, how do you lean into what God has called you to do without fear? How do you increase your visibility and scale up? Perhaps we would have Dr. Michelle take this one, so we have a bit of a balanced perspective on the Q&A session as well. Right. How do you scale up from a small enterprise, I believe, to a limited liability company and to a global company? How do you scale from small to becoming a large firm? Right. So, Dr. Michelle, let's have you on this one.
Thank you. I was trying to unmute. So first of all, thank you very much again. But before we go too far, I would like to say a big thank you actually to the Business Fellowship for this opportunity. Dr. Ele Sapunke for turning me. Thank you. And it won't be enough if I don't say thank you to our SP. Pastor Jimmy, thank you, and ASP. Thank you for saying it's okay to come share our story, our learnings. And for everyone who's here tonight, I will answer this question of how do you scale from a small limited liability company to a global company, partner with a global company. Very simple. Watch and observe almost all of the companies that have scaled. They had to go bring in a partner. You won't be there. So every time you scale your business, partnerships are actually the gold in business. You will not move quickly if you want to do everything by yourself. So, for example, and I've said, enter the rooms that the bids are difficult. If entry is difficult, exit is also difficult. For them to sack you, you must do 3 months or 3 years. There's a process. But if it's easy come, easy go. So if you want to scale, you make a little bit of money, you put it back in your business, you put in again the parable of the 10 talents. You 2 plus 2, you now have 4. You put 4 plus 4, 8. And true story. One of the best stories that I think I've had in business. I didn't know oil and gas. Today we have an asset that we're doing something with, but I didn't know oil and gas initially. And when I wanted to enter into oil and gas, after it started from cell sites, we were servicing maybe about 300 sites, and that meant 4 million liters monthly. And if you're doing 4 million liters, 5 KT is a little more. So we started bringing in a vessel, but you bring it in and then you sell the rest because you can't use all. But I had to partner with someone. And I remember the first time we did the partnership, he said we should bring a little money, 40 million, and they would give me a return on it. We gave him the money, and truly, when we finished the trade, he gave us a 50 back. It became 90 million. I've not seen 90 million in one time in my own hands. That's the first time I saw it. But it gave me access to a few things. One, I was now trading. I was bringing in products into the country with them, not alone. And I was open and now willing to learn how trading goes till we thought we don't want to do downstream, we want to do upstream, another madness. Trust me. It's life is partnerships. So you scale by partnering. Please note it. You will need to find your tribe, but please also look at the fine print. The fine print has cost me more than anything else in business. You're hurrying. Hurry and look at the fine print. Do not allow anyone to offer you something without reading the fine print. It will not be okay. So to scale to a local business, to a global business, is first put a structure, meet the statutory requirements locally, then go find a partner either here, it doesn't have to be someone abroad, that is doing global things, and say, please, I'm going for this bid, can you join me? And you do, if you want to go in separately, you can do an SPV or you do a JV. or you give them shares in your business. But that's basically how I would say that you scale. I hope I have answered your question. And then on the issue of fear, do it afraid. Do it afraid. Stop this story. When you are afraid and the Spirit of God is with you, do it afraid. Be going, be going. And when you meet the hard rock, remember that before you go, you have to trust. And please, tithe on your business. Tithe, and not the gross, please. Not the gross. Tithe on the one you earn. Go and make sure you tithe and let your business be a separate entity that you allow it tithe. But after expenses, you give God what is his own. When you want to make those kind of power moves, go into church, kneel down, put an offering between you and God, not anybody, and say, Lord, I'm going on this journey. Hold my hand. There shall be no loss. Even if there is a delay, it will loosen. There will not be loss. That's the thing I have found with God. There might be a delay because you want to, something happened last year on a project that we did. And interestingly, everybody, I had a choice of taking a very short road. In 1 month, I will access the type of funds I'm looking for. Or in 6 months, if I put all the paperwork in place, I will get there. Trust me. I'm sure everybody, when I said I was going the 6 months route, everybody was ready to eat me up. But the truth is, do I do it right or do I do it wrong? Nobody was there. You will not know I cheated. Only me and maybe a few people will know that I cheated. I took the longer road. It was tough. But I stuck with it. Today, I still saw the parties, one of the parties that were supposed to have settled on something. And I told them, I said, oh, we've sorted it out. He was like, Doctor, how did you do it? The respect I became to Pastor Ma, well done. But I could have taken the shortcut, and then at the end of the day, you've compromised yourself. So try and go the longer journey. It might be long, but you have the integrity and the backing of the Spirit of God. Remember, you're not running this journey alone. And if you make a mistake, it's okay. Dust up and go. It's only in this part of the world we laugh at people who make a mistake. Most people who are laughing, they have not done anything. Sure, if you are somebody who does business, if your colleague fails, you will never laugh. You won't laugh. You will only know that you are making progress. That is why you learn to ride a bicycle by falling, going again till you are strong. So please be encouraged. Go look for big opportunities, but start small and go together. That will be my contribution tonight. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Michelle. And that would bring us to the end of tonight's session. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to speakers. Thank you to the Business Fellowship and the leadership of the Fountain of Life Church, our senior pastor, Pastor Jimmy, and Pastor Tolu. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And till we meet another time, we look forward to great and amazing programs to support the business community. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and see you some other time. Thank you.